What if a war wasn't turned by generals, not by strategies, not even by weapons, but by flickering images on a television screen? I didn't ask that question at the time. None of us did. Back then, the glow of the TV felt harmless, just another piece of furniture in the living room, another background sound to dinner, another voice telling America what was happening far away. But sometimes, late at night,
My name is David. In the early 1960s, I was a young reporter working for a major American newspaper. I believed in journalism. I believed in facts. And I believed, perhaps too easily, in authority.
Good evening.
The newsroom was a place of rhythm. Typewriters clacked like rain on metal roofs. Phones rang with purpose. Editors moved with confidence, as if history itself had already been decided, and we were simply recording the minutes. Vietnam was a word on a map, a shape, a color on a chart. Official briefings told us everything we needed to know. Everything changed the day I was sent to Saigon. The moment I stepped off the plane, the air wrapped around me like a weight. Heat, dust, noise layered with silence. This wasn't the war I knew. Villages stood half empty, houses scarred by fire, roads where nothing moved for long stretches of time. And then there were the soldiers, young men, some barely old enough to shave, carrying weapons heavier than their expressions. I spoke to them off the record, listened more than I asked. They didn't talk about victory, they talked. 1968 shattered the illusion. The Tet Offensive didn't just strike cities in Vietnam, it struck certainty. For the first time, American television showed combat not as distant motion, but as chaos. Gunfire echoed through city streets, smoke filled familiar places. The impossible was suddenly visible. And this time, there was no voice strong enough to explain it away. I watched the broadcasts from a small apartment, thousands of miles from home, and understood what was happening. America was seeing the war, not interpreted, not summarized, but exposed. Back home, the mood shifted. Publishing those documents was not heroic. It was terrifying. There were meetings behind closed doors, legal warnings, long silences. The printing press felt louder than ever before. Each rotation sounded like a decision being made again and again. When the stories broke, there was no explosion. There was something worse: recognition. Across the country, people read the same words, watched the same footage, connected the same dots. Protests grew, not just in size. The Vietnam War didn't end on the day the headlines changed. It ended slowly, painfully, inevitably. Too many people had seen too much. Too many families had asked too many questions. The images never left them. Not the explosions, but the silence afterward. Years later, I still remember the glow of that television screen. how something so ordinary became a window into reality. The lesson I carry with me is simple, but uncomfortable. A democracy doesn't collapse when people see the truth. It changes. And sometimes, a war ends not because someone wins, but because too many people refuse to keep looking away.